So this is the generally we follow this sequence while studying this beginner's course. Parichaya. Uh, I mean, one more thing is that this beginner's course is intended for different goals, right? Different, as some of you have said. Now we want to. Ultimately, our goal is to study some or understand scriptures. Then the scripture also, scripture itself means different things, right? For different people. Some people it's like a mantras, or when some people use it during worship, mantras, or some shlokas, or even sahityam, right? Like some dramas, natakas, which are in Sanskritam, like Kalidasa's works, etc. Then there is a Ramayanam and Mahabharatam also. Then the other things are the darshanas, agamas, and there are various shastras like Manusmriti, Smriti granthas are also there. Then there is Upanishads and Vedas, Puranas. So the collection of Sanskrit works is very, very vast, and everyone might have different goals in their mind, including at some point of time being able to at least speak in Sanskritam, or using Sanskritam as a language of common language for communication between different people who do not have a common language for communication, or even writings in Sanskritam, some even the short paragraphs or short stories, etc. So there is something that one can have some goals in their mind. So this beginner's course is a mixture, in the sense, with this, after this, one is expected to get a very basic understanding of structure of the language, and using the language or some basic words and sentences, forming some basic sentences. And once we understand the structure, then it will be, in the next stages, it will be easier, in the next steps you can take, to start studying its grammar in deeper details, and also trying to read some simple poems or padyas or shlokas, simple ones, and also maybe some gadyas also, prose, stories, some simple stories, simple paragraphs, etc. Simple essays. But remember that in Sanskrit study is a long study, is a long-term study. In Sanskritam, it is also possible to form very simple sentences, but generally the padya and gadya, when you talk about scriptures, most of them they are composed of padyas or shlokas, verses, and the natakas, the dramas written by Kalidasa, Bhavabhuti, etc., they are gadyas or proses. Now, all of these contain complex words. Like these words are joined by sandhis and also compound words or samasas. Samastapada we call it, compound words. So there it could be challenging to understand them initially. That is why once we study step by step. So some basic stuff, structure, at least understand the contents of the structure or the grammar fundamentals, and then try to understand and read and understand basic words and simple sentences. Then study some part of grammar, at least the sandhis and samasas. Then start understanding then you may be able to start understanding these works of even the stotras and simple essays, etc. That is the progression one can think of in studying this language. So here if you see the Vishaya Suchi or table of contents, Parichaya, introducing oneself in Sanskritam, then Pada Parichaya, simple words, Samipa, Dura, using these words, Ling Vichara, how many genders are there in Sanskritam, how they are used, greetings, body, parts, these are some lessons here. Then using Asti, Nasti, etc., these words, and Atra, different words are there. Then the Vachanas in Sanskritam, the numbers. Then the Vibhaktis, what are these Vibhaktis, how they are used, what are the meanings when they are used, and the verbs, Kriyapadas, then there are other types of words like Shigra, Mandra, etc. Then the Katham, those are there also there. So these are the, generally follow this sequence. So let's see. So to remind you again, this is the chart of words. Let me see. Any question at this point?
No, good so far.
No, okay, thank you. So chart of letters, we looked at this chart of letters in the last 2 weeks quickly, and I can cover them very quickly here. If you have missed the last 2 parts, you can go back and watch them, and also on the pronunciation, which is called Shiksha Shastra itself, I have conducted a separate course of I think 10 or 12 sessions, which is also available on YouTube. If you are interested in understanding this Shiksha or pronunciation or phonetics in detail, you can watch that playlist. But here, very briefly, there are the words in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, Varnamala is divided at the high level into 2 categories, Swara and Vyanjanas. In any language, this chart of letters is available, right? Which makes up, using these basic Varnas or sounds or letters, the words in that language are formed. So we are talking of languages which are based on phonetics or sounds. Some of the languages may not be based on this phonetics, so that is a separate thing. But mostly, many of the languages like German, etc., or English, they are based on this phonetics, where certain letters or certain sounds in the nature are selected, and they are grouped like this, and we use these letters to form the sentences. The basic construct in a language is called a vakyam, right? If we want to express our thoughts in language to somebody else, we use a sentence. Just by using a word, other person is not expression of thought, just a word. If I say just a table or chair, so what does that mean? Yeah, I understand that chair is there, so chair is there is also a sentence, so chair exists. But just the chair, it's just referring to that object. It doesn't convey what I want to say. So the basic construct is a vakyam or a sentence in a language. And a vakyam is formed using words, different words. So we'll come to that later. But now a word itself is formed using letters. Now in Sanskritam we call it varna. A varna here I would like to call it a sound, not a letter, because sound means it is something which is spoken, which is coming out of our mouth. And then writing is different. Writing is a script, and we can use any script to represent that sound. So when I say when I pronounce that sound or or k, anything, any sound coming from mouth, if I want to write it, I can use a script, and the script could be any script. It's a symbol. Script is a symbol for writing. Right? For writing, I can use Devanagari script, which is shown here on the top here. At the same time, I can also use Roman script, or which is used for English, writing English, to write even these Sanskrit words. It is script is just a symbol here. So we are using here Devanagari in our course. Generally, that is used, or that is found in Sanskrit books, but it is also perfectly fine to use any other script, like even or Telugu script or whatever script, if that is also perfectly fine. But we are going to use here the Devanagari script. Here the sounds or the varnas in Sanskritam, they are categorized, separated into two sections, main sections. One is swara, the other is vyanjanam. Swaras are called swara because they can be pronounced independent, in the sense without having the tongue inside our mouth touching any part inside. It doesn't hit anything inside. Okay? The mouth. So a, I, u, 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 a, I, o, au. So just by compressing the air inside, restricting the air inside to different extents, using different parts of the tongue, but without actually touching anything inside the mouth cavity. So these are all produced, etc. And a is the extended version of It takes twice the amount of time to pronounce a compared to a. Similarly, e is twice the amount of time, double the time compared to e, short e. And these short forms, short vowels, are called, in Sanskritam it's called hrasva. Right? Hrasva swara, or hrasva means short. U, etc. And ru here, ru. The symbol is ru. Symbol is like this in Devanagari, but it should be pronounced ru, not ru, ri, not ri, or ru. There is no ru there. It's just a ru, just a l type. Okay? Something like ru, but ru, not touching the tongue inside mouth cavity anywhere. Ooh. Then a, I, o, au. So these are also a, I. One more thing is this u does not have the dirgha form or the long form, just like u. U is the long form of u. There is no dirgha of u because there is no word with that sound in Sanskrit language or Sanskrit Bhasha. So that is not necessary, though it is possible to pronounce it. U also is possible to pronounce the dirgha version, but is not included here. Similarly, a is the dirgha form only. It is pronounced with double the time compared to the time needed for the short vowels. A, I, O, au. Then there are Then there are 33 consonants, Vyanjanas. Vyanjanas are called Vyanjanas because they cannot be pronounced by themselves. They need the help of swaras to be pronounced. And here what are represented here in the script, or what we pronounce, they are not pure Vyanjanas. They are not pure consonants. These are Sanyuktakshara. Sanyukta means they are mixed with swaras. So if I want to actually pronounce ka, when I am pronouncing ka, where is my pen? When I pronounce ka, I am adding a to the ka vyanjana, so on. So this we need to keep in mind. Ka plus a becomes, sorry, when I say ka itself, it contains a at the end. The vyanjana ka, which cannot be pronounced by itself, it needs a at the end, so then only we can say ka. So just the ka sound, just to represent that, it is called kakara. Kakara means ka sound or ka vyanjana in its pure form. Then ka plus a becomes ka, cha plus a becomes cha, cha plus a becomes cha, cha plus e becomes chi, chi, etc. These are all Sanyukta Akshara. These are all Sanyukta Akshara, ja, ja, ja. So I think you are already familiar with this. If you are not familiar, if you have any questions, please ask me. So otherwise, we can move forward. Then the first line here in the Vyanjana itself, Vyanjana series, first 25 are called Vargiya Vyanjana because they have Vargas. Varga means class. Class means category. They have each class here. One line is a class or category. So the first line in this Vargiya Vyanjana 25, the first line is called Kanthya class. Kanthya means they need the help of, they are produced. How are they produced? They are produced when the back side of the tongue hits the kantha inside. Okay? Ka, you can experience that. Ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, experience. But then the cha also, cha, this line is called, or this varga is called talavya. Talavya means it needs the help of talu. Talu is the top palate, upper palate of the mouth. So the top upper surface of the tongue, it touches the upper palate, the palate of the mouth inside, the cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. And similarly, ta, ta, da, da, na, this is a murdhanya. It hits you can experience the ta when you say ti, tha, da, tha, na. So where the tongue touches the murdha, the top part of the cavity inside there, top forward part, and then the ta, tha, da, tha, na, these are dantya, where the tip of the tongue touches the teeth inside the mouth there. Then pa, pa, bha, bha, ma, these are osthya words, osthya varnas, when it is near the two lips to touch each other, then these letters are pronounced. So these are Vargiyas, and each one also has its own characteristics, like each column also. Within this kantha itself, the line is kantha. But what is the difference between each column? Ka and kha, ga and gha and nga. If anybody knows, they can also talk about this. Ka, kha, what is the difference when we say ka, kha? Both need the kantha, both need the help of the throat inside, right? Ka, kha.
Pressure applied to pronounce the force of the air, intensity change in the force of the air.
Yes, correct. Yeah, intensity is more when we say ka. Similarly, what is the difference between ka and ga? Ka, ga.
In
Ga is
ka, a tongue
softer.
touches lightly. In ga, specifically touches the path.
Huh.
Touching,
Yeah,
force of
yeah, right.
touching the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody said, Manita.
It's a softer. The ga is more softer than reciting the ka.
Hmm. Yeah, so and what about nga? Nga. Nga. So,
In
ka.
this letter,
The
the
nasal.
air is released. Uh, air is not blocked, released.
Yeah. Released through nose. Nga,
Yeah.
released through nose. Whereas ka, kha, ga, kha, nga, everywhere where the air is involved, this is because our mouth is an air instrument, air is used to produce all these sounds. Then when in the first column here, okay, ka, kha, ga, ka, cha, ta, ta, pa, when we are pronouncing this less air intensity compared to the second column, and so that's why the first column is, they are called alpa prana. This prana means you can, yeah, prana is the intensity, you can say the air intensity. And the second column is mahaprana. Again the third column is also alpa prana, and the fourth column is mahaprana. Compared, if you between these two, ga and gha, between ga and gha, these two, again, ga requires less intensity of air. Gha, mahaprana, more intensity of air. So, ka, alpa prana, kha, second column. Ka, kha, cha, tha, tha, pha. All these are mahaprana. Ga, ja, da, da, ba, alpa prana. Gha, cha, dha, dha, bha, mahaprana. Nga, nya, na, na, ma. These are again alpha prana, but they need, all of them, they need the help of uh, the air is released through nose. If you close the nose, these cannot be pronounced at least properly. So they need, the air has to pass through nose here. So these are called anunasika. These are this fifth letters in the fifth column. They are anunasika. So where the tongue touches inside the mouth, based on that the rows are decided. The position of the mouth, position of tongue inside the mouth, that decides the varga. Kavarga, chavarga, tavarga, tavarga, pavarga. So they are referred to by their first letter, the varga, each letter, the varga is referred or named by the first letter, kavarga, chavarga. Kavarga, the sthana or position of the tongue touching inside the mouth is the kantha or the throat inside there. Second line, chavarga, the position of the tongue touching inside the mouth is talu, the palate. Tavarga, murtha, tavarga, danta, pavarga is oshtha. There is no tongue involved here, just the two lips, pa, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Now, but the columns are made based on the other characters of pronunciation. The alpa prana, mahaprana, first and third alpa prana, third columns, second and fourth columns, mahaprana, fifth column again, alpa prana, but anunasika. It also needs not only the kantha, talu, etc. Sthana is important, but along with that, it also needs the nasika, air passing through the nose. Nasika means nose. So they are called anunasika varnas. Now between the first and the third, both are alpa prana. So what is the difference there? Difference is the nada. Nada there. Nada means the vibration. The first column here, ka, when we pronounce that, the vibration is not there. Their pronunciation is muted. It is like you can think of it as hitting a metal or some coin on a wooden surface, like a wood table. If you hit it, so it's not like vibrationary. Whereas ga, when you say ga, third column, though it is also alpa prana, ga is, when you say ga, there is a vibration, nada. It is like hitting a metal on another metal. There is a vibration, ga. So you can feel that by putting your fingers around the neck outside, front side. When you pronounce k and g, you can feel the difference. G produce like a vibrations, more vibrations in the air. So the first column is muted. Nada is not there, whereas the first and second, no nada. Then the third and fourth and also fifth, there is nada. Ga, gha, nga. So these are the differences between the columns mainly. And then there is another set of vyanjanas which is shown as the last line here. Ya, ra, la, va, sha, sha, sa, ha. So these are just put in a separate line here. They are called avargiya vyanjana. They have no class like varga, chavarga. They are avargiya, but they also have this all these characters. Sthana is there, position is there, then nada, shwasa nada. Shwasa is just the muted, you can call it, and the nada, then there is a vibration, and then there is the non-anasika here. So here, lava, that we already discussed in the last session. And then apart from this, there are two more sounds, important ones, which is this ma, sorry, not ma, anuswara and visarga. Right? Anuswara, visarga. These are the sounds which cannot be pronounced independently. They need a swara before. Like when we say Sanskrita, here this sound, when we say Sanskrita, that sound coming, that is anuswara. So that sound is coming after the sound because this sa itself is made of two letters, right? Sa and Sa is a vyanjanam, cannot be pronounced by itself. It needs to bring out the sound of sa. We need to add otherwise this sa by itself cannot come out of the mouth by itself. We have to throw that air out by using some one of the swaras. Either you add sa, or a after sa, then it becomes sa, e after sa becomes si, su, etc. Shru, etc. So even these can be added. Say, sai, so. So one of the swaras is needed for any consonant to get that air out and then produce the sound of the vyanjanam. And after this or sa, anything you add, then the anuswara can be added, sound can be produced, like Sanskrita, etc. And similarly, visarga sound also, that is a muted sound. This anuswara needs a nasika again, but the visarga is a muted, no nasika, and it is just a release of breath or air. It also comes after, it needs a swara before pronouncing visarga, like sa, sa, si, etc. Okay, I think we can move forward. Any question here? Um, the last class we also looked at, or you read some of these, all these words just for practice. Then these are the compound letters or sanyuktakshara, or sometimes gunitakshara also, where this kakara or kakara, vyanjana, you add it to any swara, then it becomes a compound letter like a kha, kha, ga, ga, gi, gi, etc. That I believe you already know that, and this anuswara visarga also can be added to a swara. And I do not want to pronounce these right now because these cannot be pronounced yet. We'll see that later. And then this ka, ka, ki, ki, ko. These also the visarga added to swara. These are more words here, and yeah, even more words. And here we saw this is the slide which shows a word made of different letters. For example, chashakaha. Now here chashakaha in Sanskritam means a container, a glass or some small, any container where you can put a drinking glass, something. Chashakaha. Now this chashakaha can be written like this, generally written in Devanagari like this, chashakaha. But it contains these separate words, right? Separate sounds, separate varnas, not words, separate sounds, which if it is broken down, it can be written like this. This chakara cannot be pronounced by itself. There is a cha sound is there, cha vyanjana sound, then there is a, then there is a sh vyanjana, then there is a swara, then ka vyanjana, then a swara, then visarga sound. So this is aha is basically a plus visarga, okay? A plus visarga. So together, when pronounced, it becomes chashakaha, chashakaha. So in theory, I mean, you can write chashakaha like this also. You can write like this separately. If you write like this, writing is different, right? Chashakaha. Okay? You can write it like this. Whether you write it like this, or write it like this, or even if you write it like this, any way you write it, the pronunciation is going to be same. It is a single word, and when pronounced, whether you write whatever way you want to, the ultimate pronunciation is going to be chashakaha only. Right? So similarly, what will be the pronunciation for this one, the second word? Anyone here?
Sauchika.
Huh.
Sauchika.
Huh. Sauchikaha. Sauchikaha. Sauchikaha.
Sauchika. Sauchika.
Huh. So here I write it here when written in a different way, using the symbols for the compound letters. Sanyuktakshara. For sa plus sau, the symbol is like this, sau. Right? This lipi or the writing script is artificial, right? So you can come up with your own script. I can invent my own script, and I can start using my own script to represent any sound, right? That's also possible. But we all agreed, a group of people agreed to use certain symbols to represent sounds. Sound is natural, whereas script is artificial. So now to represent the sound sau, so we in Devanagari script we have decided to use this symbol. So, and chi, this one. Ka, we use this one. Sauchika means, in Sanskritam, Sauchika means person who sews, like clothes. Then the next one is, what does this represent?
Shuna cow.
Shuna cow. Shunaka in Sanskritam means dog. Shunaka means two dogs. Shunakau, two dogs. The next word is this one.
Bhava.
Dhāvatah. Dhavatah. Dhavatah, this can mean different things, but generally you can think of this as Dhavatah means running. Dhavana means running in Sanskritam. So this is just to understand, when we represent or write a word like this, it is made of different sounds. Different sounds come together to pronounce a sound. So we are not going to go through all this writing of Devanagari, which you can, if you're not familiar with the Devanagari writing, then there are workbooks available which you can download and practice writing the Devanagari. Okay, now here let's practice some more simple words. Maybe we can go to this one first. Trying to read this and at the same time getting familiar with the meaning of these simple words. Okay. Let's start with whom? Anybody's Seema Bhagini? You want to start this one? What is the first word?
Deepa. Chashaka.
Deepa.
Deepa. That visarga at the end. Deepa. So here, note that last time also somebody asked Deepaha. There is a difference between Deepaha and Deepa. This visarga is Deepa. So though maybe for the clarification while we are remotely talking here, just for clarity, you might want to say Deepaha, just to indicate that we are pronouncing that visarga there, but technically it should be pronounced just the air or the breath coming out of your mouth. There is no nada. The ha has a nada, vibration, ha. The visarga, no vibration. Deepa. Okay. So Deepaha, that this one is the shown here, the meaning of the word. Deepa means the lamp or the light. Actually the lamp. Okay. Next one. Chashakaha. Chashakaha means something, container or glass used for drinking. Okay. Next. Syuta. Syuta. This means bag. Again, a container bag. Note that I keep mentioning this, that any word in Sanskrit language has a strong etymology. Etymology means the utpatti. So always there is the question is, why is it called Syuta? Okay. Probably when we are studying other languages, maybe Spanish or whatever, English, when we are studying language, we take a book or some course or something, some source, some website, and when we start, that there will be pictures and there will be words for that, so like table, chair, the lamp, etc. So we just try to memorize them or use them in sentences and try to speak with people who know the language. We don't generally question why is it called lamp, why is it called book, why a book is called book. But here Sanskritam, every word has etymology. Syuta, Chashaka, Deepa, next one is Dvichakrika. So all these, they have origins. But at this point, right now, we don't have to go into those that etymology. But later, when you start studying simple sentences, or not only that, when you start trying to understand the stotras or the meanings of the words in the stotra or scriptures, gadya, padya, etc., then this becomes, when you start understanding the etymology, then it becomes more enjoyable or more meaningful. Like example here, for example, here syutaha is there. Why is it called syutaha? Syuta means it's something is woven, weaving, weaving, woven. Something is woven is called syuta. So now the syuta, if you come to this contemporary usage, yeah, we are using it for the plastic bags also, any kind of bags also, which may not be really woven in that sense. So that becomes a rudhi or a in practice. Syuta, though originally it means woven, but in practice, in general usage, it is being used for any kind of bag. Okay? So, but it has a etymology there, syuta. But if you think like that, even the plastic bag is also woven by chemical material. Right? So that way it is also syuta. Next is dvichakrika. Dvi means two, chakrika means, chakra means wheel. So one which has two wheels is dvichakrika here. The dvichakrika, though a bicycle is shown here, since that word means two-wheeler, like two-wheeler, dvichakra, it can be used for anything which has two wheels. Okay. The next word is
Asanda.
asanda. Yeah. If anybody has any question about these words or pronunciation or the objects shown here, if you don't understand, please feel free to ask. Asanda, that means chair. Okay, next one.
Ramasa.
Chamasa, spoon. Next.
Halika.
Salika. Next. Plate. Spherical plate. Next.
Darpana.
Darpana. Mirror. Okay, next.
Adatranam.
Sir, one question. Sir, one question. For every word there is a strong etymology you have said. So, syutaha means something woven. That is syu is the root word for this. Is it? Then is there any list of root words in Sanskrit, sir?
Yes. Yeah, the list of the root words. The root words are called dhatu in Sanskritam. So there is a definite list of root words, which are about 2000 root words in Sanskritam. So they are listed in a collection called Dhatu Kosha. Kosha means collection. Dhatu Kosha. So every word you see here, they have the origin in some dhatu. Yeah, Solis, you have any question?
No, thanks, yeah.
Nothing, okay. Darpanah, Padatranam. Padatranam. Tranam, just for your reference here. Pada means foot. Tranam is something which protects. Tranam is protection. Which protects foot is Padatranam. Then next one is
Kunchika.
Kunchika. Kunchika, key. Some of these are like modern, like Padatranam. These are modern like objects, like recently discovered, like on computer here, Sanganakam, which is shown here. Next one, it didn't exist like 30 years before or 50 years before. Sanganakam is a recent invention, but computer is the word used in English. What is computer? We know which one which computes, computing. That also has the etymology there, computes. So similarly, taking that cue here, so the new word in Sanskritam is the word for Sanganakam is used for this device or Sanganakam. Ganakam means which counts, computes. Some is added to that. Some means nicely, properly. Some like Sanskrita. There also some is there. So some can be prefixed to something to indicate it does that thing in a better or a nicer way. The Sanskritam, where there is a some there. So here also Ganakam, to that we are adding some in the beginning. So Sanganakam, that becomes something which computes better in a better way. So Sanganakam. You can. So there again, note that these in Sanskritam is a etymological language, which is a good thing also, because it also that means for every word we come to know why that word is there to represent that object. But also it could be challenging in the sense this kind of style or the characteristics of this language could be a challenging, right? For example, Sangan, when you say Sanganakam, which literally means device which does this computations nicely, that means there could be another word also to represent that device, right? Which might also mean there could be other root word in Sanskritam for computing or doing the plus minus whatever the math nicely. So we can use that word. Now the other challenge is the Sanganakam word itself can be used for some other object also. If there is some other object which is doing the similar or doing this counting thing nicely, better way, for that object also we can use Sanganakam. It's possible. Same thing with Asanda, Chamsa, etc. also. So this becomes challenging to really understand when somebody is saying something, right? Because we really don't know in what context the Sanganakam is being used, unless that is the context is important here. So when you study the Shastra or scriptures and the Padya, Gadya, etc., these things become, context becomes very important there, because same word can be used for to represent to refer to different things, and for the same thing different words can be used. So the context becomes very important, and how we interpret that, the meaning of the word also becomes extremely important in that case. And this is the reason why we have so many interpretations of, say, Bhagavad Gita, or even the Shastras, Vedas, Puranas. Everything is interpreted by different people in a different way, because each one can be each one can be it can refer to various things based on how you interpret it. So here, this is one interpretation, like this, for example, chamasaha, and this is referring to this particular thing shown here, which is a spoon. Yeah, this is one representation, and using these representations, we can try to use these in a sentence and communicate our thoughts and expressions to someone else. Yeah. All right, Sanganakam, then there is a Kankatam. Next one is Kankatam, means comb here. Right. Okay, so what else we have? Ghati. Next one. Yeah, somebody can read this next one.
Marjani.
Samarjani. Okay, next one. Tatsyana. Next
Mishrakam.
one. Next one.
Yeah.
Shayya. Okay, last line.
Sheetakam. Doordarshanam.
Bashpasthali. Then Mudrana Yantram. So these are the some introductory words introduced here, just to understand and start becoming familiar with these words, and probably you might want to start using this after this class in your at home. Padatranam, Shayya, Gati, can start referring to the objects like this. So you get familiar with these words. Now, couple of things. We are end of the hour, but couple things I want to highlight. One is we already talked about etymology. Here, for example, let's say a ghati. Ghati, ghata. This word comes from the ghata. Ghati. What is ghata means? What some of you know already, I think. Ghata.
Ghata means glass.
Huh?
And
Ghata.
Ghata.
Event.
Huh?
Event.
Pot. Yeah.
Pot.
Acha, that ghat.
Ghata is pot. Ghata is pot. Now, ghati is this word is also coming from this ghata. Ghata turning into ghati. Now, one might wonder what is the relation. This thing, which is a clock shown here, doesn't look like pot. What is the relation? When we say there is an etymology, what is the etymology here? Can anybody think of?
something keeping
people might have used pot with a hole to measure the time.
Correct, exactly. So in the ancient times, maybe some people may be using right now also in these times, pot with a hole originally, right, filled with some liquid, maybe some special liquid which has a certain consistency, viscosity, which flows through that hole. Pot also has to be certain size and material. Hole also has to be certain size, right? Then previously, in ancient times, that was the device, tool for measuring the time. It flows through, and after a certain time, that is considered as something, 1 unit of time. So that ghata was the old way of measuring time. So that can be used to refer to the timekeeping device now also, which is ghata or ghati here, ghati. So that is the concept. So now ghati has become the rudha nama, rudha shabda here, the word which has stuck by practice to the device which is used for measuring the device. So that is one point. And secondly, there are some words here which have like for example, you say asandaha or kunchika or sanganakam, kankatam. You see the asan, there is a na, okay, plus visarga, right? Asandaha. There is a na which is written. Na, what is na there? Na is a Vyanjanam there. Okay? It is added after na, after Vyanjana na, there is no swara. It is added to the. Sorry, the is added after na. Sorry, you said something?
Samyuktakshram, sir. Na and the without any.
Yes, Samyuktakshara. So there, after na, there is no swara, right? Asanda. And similarly here, kunchika, there is no swara. After nya, which is a Vyanjanam, there is a cha, and after that there is a e, which is written like this, kunchi, kunchika. Then similarly sanganakam, there is a nga, and after that there is a ga, sanganak. Similarly kankat also, there is a nga, and after that there is ka, kankata. Why I am highlighting this? Because the pronunciation, we'll have to take note of the pronunciation here. Pronunciation is important. So when we write asanda, for example here, we are not writing it like this, asanda, or kunchika. We are not writing kunchika like this. It should not be written. Similarly, sanganaka. Or kankata. It should not be written like this. Why? Because pronunciation is not like this. Okay? Pronunciation is like this. So what is the difference between this pronunciation? For example, you take this one, asanda. Okay? You take this one, asanda. Let me clear this board. Asanda. And this. What is the difference between writing and reading? How do you read this and how do you read this?
In the second case, N is Vyanjana is specifically mentioned, na. This is Anuswara.
So why we should not write it like this, Anuswara, with this is Anuswara, and this is Vyanjana na. Why we should not write it like this?
because it is it is based on etymology, based on the two words, joining two words. There is a sandhi in it.
Yeah, those are technicalities like sandhi and etymology. But here, main thing, even when we say kunchika, maybe in Hindi or in some Indian regional languages, they are written with anuswara. Generally, I have seen in Hindi speakers or Hindi language, it is written. This is okay if they write it like this: kunchika, asanda. This is okay, and pronunciation is like asanda or kunchika, right? But writing this is okay in maybe in Hindi language, but in Sanskritam is very particular. We cannot write it like this. We should not write it like this because the pronunciation will be different here. And if you where is it? If you write it like this, when you are trying to pronounce sandaha, I can add, okay, sandaha, we cannot pronounce this anuswara. It is not possible to pronounce anuswara. It has to be na there. You see the difference between the anuswara sound and the na sound. Anuswara sound you can experience when you you can also say sansat or sanskrita. Okay? When you say sansad, okay? This is another word, sansad. There the anuswara sound can be heard, sansa. We are not saying there sansa. Okay? It is not Sanskrita, it is Sanskrita, sansa. That sound coming there, that is anuswara. Whereas when we say asanda, because there is a the after that, the anuswara sound cannot be pronounced. It cannot be asandaha. That is not the right pronunciation, right? We are not saying the anuswara there, asandaha. So we are saying asandaha. So there na has to come, na sound has to come there, not anuswara. When the na sound has to come, then in writing also, it has to be represented with the na script. Now script has to represent the na there, not anuswara script. Okay? That's why in Sanskritam the writing has to represent what the sound is, what the actual sound in pronunciation is. So similarly, kunchika also. When we say kunchika, we cannot write like this. This writing is incorrect because the anuswara sound, we are not pronouncing anuswara sound there. We are not saying kunchika. Kunchika. No. We are saying kunchika. When we are getting that nya sound out there. Kunchika. Right? Kunchika. Same thing with the sanganakam. Because there is a g after that, the ng sound comes there. No? Sanganakam. Ng. Sanganakam. Similarly, kankatam. So everywhere you notice that the sound which comes here before the, that is the last letter of that varga, ta tha da dha na, right? In the ta varga, ta tha da dha na, that line of varnamala, that line of varnamala, the last letter is na. So that is why the na sound comes here, asandaha. Similarly, here kunchika, the letter which follows that ku, and there is, even if you want to say anuswara, you cannot, because there is a ch sound after that, right? There is a ch sound after. So when there is ch sound after that, the anuswara cannot be pronounced. whatever is the last letter, anunasika letter, the last column of that varga, cha varga, cha cha ja cha nya. So this what, even if you try to say anuswara, that changes into nya sound. The anunasika letter, the last letter, fifth column of that varga, cha varga. So kunchika. Okay. Similarly, this ga is there, ka ka ga ga nga, the last letter, fifth letter, anunasika letter of that varga is going to be pronounced here, samganakam, kankatam. So the writing and the pronunciation both are important here. So be careful, pay attention while you are writing these words also, and keep that difference in pronunciation in mind. Why we are writing it like this? Why not with anuswara? Keep that in mind. And wherever you see this anuswara or one of these anunasika letters in Sanskrita stotra, Sanskrita letters, Sanskrita gadya, anywhere writing, you have to know that what is the pronunciation is there. If it is a anuswara, how it has to be pronounced, that you should be mindful. When we write it like this, or sansara, pronounce it as a anuswara sound, not as a na sound, not Sanskrita, not even a ma sound, not Samskrita. And even in sansara also, don't pronounce it as sansara. Pronounce it as sansara, sansara. Yep, can stop here today. Any questions?
Sir, I have a question. Then is kunchika and the sanganakam, the na, how is it different? How is the pronunciation different? The letters are different, so how should we pronounce it? What is the correct?
So this the cha cha ja, sorry, ka kha ga gha nga, the first varga of Varkiya Vyanjana. Where is the sthana of the, when you say ka kha ga gha nga, the sthana is throat. The back part of the tongue is touching this very deep part of the throat here. Okay. Ka kha ga gha nga. There is a sparsha there. Ka kha ga gha, which is not very much apparent, but there is a sparsha because it's deep in the throat here. Ka kha ga gha nga. For cha cha ja cha nya, chavarga, the sparsha is here, and this part of the tongue is coming and touching here. Cha cha ja cha nya. Even nya is also touching here, but for nya, what happens? The air is also passed through nose. Nya. Similarly, nga also, the touch is here, but the air is also passing through nose for nga. So when we say kunchika, right, kunchika, there is a nya in between. Nya. So what is the sthana or position for nya? It is here, right? Nya. Just like cha. So cha cha ja cha nya also same position. Nya same position. Only difference for the nya is the air passes out through the nose. So when we say kunchika, or let's take another example, kunjara. Kunjara means elephant. Kunjara. This ja is also has the position talu, and ya has a position talu. So now you know the position there. Kun ya comes, ya has to reach there. Kunjara. Okay, then kankata. We know the position here at the back. So when we say kang, kang, the position is the back here. It is not here or anywhere else. Kang, ka, ta. Okay. Other example is Vangmaya. Right? Vangmaya is a different, not good example because there are other things there. Then what else? Ganga. Okay. Ganga, river. Ganga. So here also same. Ga is there. The position is here. Both Nga also. Ganga. Ganga. Try it when you say Nga, this will be compressed here. Compressed means almost touch here. But whereas Anuswara, I'm not going to write also here. Anuswara, let's say Sansara. 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 When we say Anuswara, there is no touch of throat, tongue anywhere. Just the free air passes, air freely passes through nose, no touch anywhere. Yeah. But this nga, nya, na, ma, there is a touch involved here. The last column of the Vargiya letters, nga, ya, na, ma, there is a touch plus air coming out. But in case of Anuswara, there is no touch involved, just the air passes out. Samsara. Okay. Ganga.
Same case with the Samshaya also. Samshaya.
Yeah. Samshaya, Anuswara. Samshaya. So note that the Anuswara, you might have noticed already. We have taken some examples here. Samsara and Sanskrita and Samshaya, okay. And then what else?
Samyukta.
Sanyukta. Uttama. Sanyukta. And there is Samurabha, etc.
Samvedana.
Samvedana, very good. Yeah, those are better, good examples, not this. Okay. Samveda. Samvedana, etc. So, and we also taken the examples of Kunchika, etc. Right? Kunchika, Sangana, Kunchika. So what is the difference? We cannot write it like that. So Kunchika or Ganga, right? Ganga. So what is the difference you see here? When we should use Anuswara and when we should not use Anuswara and we should use the Anunasika.
Sir, when Anuswara, when Anuswara follows, Anuswara is followed by Avargiya Vyanjana, we need not transform the letter. Actually.
Correct. Yes. Exactly. So you see here all these examples where the Anuswara is there, like some way that Va is there. Va is a Avargiya. It is not in that first 25 Vyanjanas. It's in the one of the Yaralava Shashasaha. So those last 9 letters, right? Yaralava Shashasaha. So one of them. Samveda, Ya, Sanyukta. So if there is a Avargiya Vyanjana, then there is a Anuswara, if it is there, if there is some nasal sound has to be pronounced before Anuswara, before this Avargiya Vyanjana, then it will be Anuswara sound. Whereas if a Vargiya Vyanjana follows that nasal sound, then it turns into an Anunasika sound. That means the 5th column of the same Varga, Kunchika, Ganga, Kankata, etc. So this is simple, like Sansara also, this Avargiya, Sa is Avargiya, so Sansara, Sanskrita, Sanshaya, etc. So this is simple to understand. Ganga. you see Ganga, that also has etymology. Gam Gachati. Ga means Bhumi. She came down to earth. That's why it's Ganga. That is etymology, just remembered. For Ganga. Previously she was Ganga Nadi was only, there is a story that it came down from heaven to earth. So previously it was only in the heavens, then it flowed down to the earth. That's a story. That's why Gam. Ga means Bhumi or the earth. Ga means coming down or going. Ganga. Ganga. Coming down to earth. One who comes down to earth. Okay, any other questions before we stop? Okay, धन्यवाद, नमस्कार.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
धन्यवाद.
Namaskar.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye.
Namaste.